The University of Kentucky, located in the heart of downtown Lexington, does its best to make students feel at home while on campus by providing tasty dining options for their students. Scattered around the campus are several dining halls and food cellars that the students can choose from. The meal choices range from foods that can be eaten on the go if a student just needs a quick bite in between classes to full meals that students can sit down and enjoy. Bowman's Den is one of the students' favorite places to eat on campus. Bowman's is home to Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Subway, Panda Express, and Greens to Go. Despite being so popular at the University of Kentucky, the population of students that occupy Bowman's fluctuates throughout the day, growing and shrinking as the day goes on. Bowman's can go from being filled with buzzing student activity to an almost vacant space in a matter of minutes, depending on what time of day it is. Mornings at Bowman's are often one of the quietest parts of the day in this space. The people who use the cafeteria at this time are typically the individuals who work at the 5 in-house restaurants and the students who fill the Starbucks line, yearning for the morning coffee that they hope will wake them up. At this time of the day, the space is filled with the sounds of coffee machines, fizzing and foaming as the baristas try to make their customers the perfect latte, mocha, or even just a regular cup of coffee. A few conversations add to the mellow vibe of the den at this time of day. However, the peace and quiet of the space in the mornings doesn't last for long, as the space fills up with people and noise as the day continues. In the following audio clip, you can hear the background noise of the buzzing and purring of the coffee machines that fill up Bowman's Den in the mornings. Around 11, Bowman's Den shifts into the lively space that it is known to be, as students pour in from both sets of large glass double doors and begin forming the long, winding lines that lead to each food option.
No, we barely have enough for one team. You can out of here? Yeah, I gotta go.
The cafeteria's growing population and noise level often urges those who earlier sought out the peace and quiet of the space to vacate and move out of the chairs that sit between Bowman's and the adjacent athletic field. Lunchtime at Bowman's is an almost impossible environment to study or do work in, due to the noise level that comes from loud conversations between students who are either waiting in line for their food or have already sat down at the rows of tables and chairs to enjoy a meal with friends. I interviewed several students that use Bowman's Den and enjoy the space at different times of the day in order to understand how the student population uses Bowman's Den and chooses a time to be in that space. I asked how they enjoyed to use Bowman's and what time of day they choose to occupy the space. Gabby Melendez, a freshman at the university, described how she likes to use Bowman's Den, what time of day she likes to use the den, and even what times of the day she tries to avoid Bowman's altogether.
So Gabby, you use Bowman's Den a lot. How do you like to use the den, and what times of the day do you like to go there?
I go there mostly to get something for lunch in between classes, and I go around 11 because it's not too late to eat lunch, but it's not too late that the lines are so long.
So Gabby, you said you like to use Bowman's Den around 11 to get some lunch. Is there any time of the day that you try to avoid Bowman's altogether?
Usually between 12 and 2 because that's when the lines are way too long and they kind of wrap around the entire building.
While students like Gabby try and avoid Bowman's Den between 12 and 2, many students return to the den around 3 to get something to eat after a long day of classes. In the late afternoon, Bowman still has a few students lingering among the rows of tables and chairs, either studying or picking up some food on the way home to their dorms. The environment of the space is much calmer in the afternoons and evenings, without as much noise, conversation, and activity.